Yeah, you're burning up on Toasted Radio with the Stereo MCs in the year 2005, giving you the sounds of pure paradise.
Yeah, hi, I'm Nick from Stereo MCs.
Yeah, and I'm Rob from Stereo MCs.
And how are you doing?
Good, man, good.
Yeah. Right. You arrived yesterday?
Yeah, we got here last night from Belgium. We're pretty tired, you know, because we've been doing non-stop sort of interviews for 3 or 4 days, and then we were doing a couple of festivals the day before that.
And how's the press? Are they jumping on a new album?
Yeah, getting a very positive reaction from people, you know, people saying they're finding the record optimistic and uplifting, and it's a nice reflection to be getting on your music.
How did the sound came about? I
think really we just, I guess, as people, we reflect what we're feeling from life through our music, and I think we've tried to say what we're actually saying in our lyrics is reflective of what we see going on around us, you know, and in our own environment. We hope that it helps people get a picture of where it is we come from. That's why we called the album Paradise, and we had a painting of Atlantic Road, which is the road that leads onto our studio. That is actually just down the road from where we work and where we live, and this is a scene we see every day down in Brixton. It's painted by a guy who did a whole load of, he does street scenes in South London. And so, like, we're just trying to say that Paradise is actually where we are right now, in the present moment. It's not in 40 years when we're on the way to being old, you know, with a little pot of gold. It's right now. The pot of gold is your life, you know, and that's where we live, and we want people to feel that. And there's a lot of good things going on, there's a lot of bad things going on, and so we're not trying to paint an untruthful picture. We're kind of saying what is going on, but in a way that's hopefully is uplifting to people.
I think it sometimes can be hard to stay positive with all those madness going on in the world. I mean,
well, I guess, yeah, I mean, I think it is, but you know, I guess you have to deal with it, don't you? And I think we went through a sort of not so positive period, you know, and now for us, just personally in our own lives, you know, we kind of sorted out a lot of stuff, got out of our deal with our record company, which we wasn't really vibing with, got a new team of people working with us, and they're all like positive, and all they want to do is make good music and go out and play it, and you know, that's the essence of what we want to do. So it's been kind of really refreshing, and I think we've really returned to the roots of why we were making music in the first place. You know, you can go through these weird kind of tangents in kind of what you're doing, but I think we've kind of reached a place where we feel like we've started our own label, we're totally responsible for what we're doing, we've got great input, and it feels exciting, you know, and it feels like a new band again.
Yeah, the bio says that you weren't really enjoying the recording of the last album, Deep Down and Dirty. Can you explain why? It
wasn't really that we didn't enjoy the recording of it. It was just we were kind of burnt out after Connected, and then there was kind of this immense kind of picture built up of us making a record after like 6 or 7 years, and it was an impossible thing to live up to, really. But for us, Deep Down and Dirty was, we kind of suddenly locked into making a record, and we felt it was like, wow, it's brilliant. We've kind of got over this hurdle that we were going through where we couldn't make a record for a while and we just wasn't feeling it, and that was a real opening the doors for us. And unfortunately, the record company felt a bit like, well, it didn't sell as many as Connected, so they were kind of onto the Sugar Babes or whatever they were kind of doing. And we realised after a year of touring that really we needed to sort out a lot of stuff. It wasn't just about us feeling like we'd kind of broken through. It was like they hadn't broken through, getting over a sort of thing they had in their head about us, and the only way it was going to really sort itself out was for us to get away from that situation. So we still had things that we had to deal with. I mean, we actually enjoyed the process of making the Deep Down and Dirty record, because it was kind of it was unblocking, you know what I mean? And it was kind of, maybe it was a record that was a little bit darker than some of our records, but it was what we had to do to kind of get through and open up our minds to kind of going forward. So, you know, after we kind of went through that, we had a couple of years where we were sorting out the business, and we were kind of making music and doing like gigs in Brazil and Singapore and places like that. But then we hooked up with our new management, and that really kind of helped us focus on just experimenting. And you know, Gary had come down the studio and he'd be like, okay, I want an album title up on the wall by Thursday, you know, really like focusing on the fact that we were making a record. And you know, we sort of got, you know, it's like we had that picture actually by accident almost, very early on, because I had it on a little postcard. And we sort of thought somehow it had a little vibe for where we wanted to go with the record. So all fitting these little pictures into place that really helped us kind of start to get really focused on making a record that had some breadth and some different vibes, you know.
Was it difficult at first to like understand the business because you started your own label?
Well, for us, our main purpose within starting a label was to draw in people, you know, to look for people that were going to form our sort of direction, the direction of the label. And the business side of it was usually taken care of either, you know, by our manager, you know what I mean? That's the way it usually runs. I mean, music is really the place where we work best.
I was very surprised by this album, and I think a lot of people were also surprised and didn't expect this sound. How are the reactions so far from the fans, from the press?
You know, really good. I think it's like we didn't want to come out with some big hype, you know what I mean, because we're kind of a bit tired of that whole sort of business, you know. And you know, everybody's been really positive so far. You know, it's been really good. It's like the shows we've been doing, obviously there's people that know us, and then there's been a whole lot of people who really probably don't know that much about us, you know, a kind of younger kind of crowd. And I think in a strange way we've kind of, it's gone round full circle, and I actually think that because we're kind of quite unique as a band, you know, we've always had our own sound, and it is a real cross sort of sound, you know what I mean? It's like, it's kind of fits into a lot of areas, from Chemical Brothers sort of area to like
soul
yeah, soul music, and even we can be up in front of rock fans, and I still think we can convey an energy which they can sort of appreciate, because when we started there wasn't really that many kind of avenues for our type of music for playing live, and we could never understand it. We were like, but why can't we have a sound system like the one that Slayer have or something like that, you know what I mean? Because we want to be loud, that's what our music's about. Yeah, just because we've got turntables, why does that mean we can't play loud like a guitar band? And so we'd get on weird tours like with Living Colour and Certain Ratio and, you know, loads of different groups, and we'd start playing at rock festivals.
Is it Set It Up for a single? Because that sounds like
it is here, yeah. We actually started off by putting out a very limited edition 12-inch of a track called Warhead and First Love, because we wanted to actually start off this record by just letting people have a vibe that we were coming out with a new album. So we did that, and in England now we're going to put out a track called Paradise, and in the rest of Europe we're putting out Set It Off as the first single.
Is it already played in on underground clubs and stuff? You know that?
I'm not sure if we've actually done the promoing yet of the track.
It's going out in September, isn't it?
August, I think.
Okay.
It maybe beginning, end of August, beginning of September. Right. I mean, you know, Warhead was very low key, but we were getting good response. You know, it's like, you know, NME. You know, there's a nice review, and they haven't written about us for like, you know, about 6 years. Yeah. You know, so it's like, in a way, it feels like we're a new band, and we got to kind of break through, because because we've been around a long time, there is a tendency, especially in England, for like the whole journalist thing to be like, oh, we're on, you know, it's like, oh no, it's all about the Killers this week and stuff like that.
Right, that's completely true, because they're like focusing on one band always. The next week we had got a new hype to go.
Exactly, you know. So I think it's important for us just to kind of not really worry about that stuff and just like go out and play our music, and the reaction you get from just people is really good. So you just have to kind of get it out and not really kind of get too stressed about whether exactly, because I think there's sort of barriers that are just formed because of your longevity, really, you know what I mean, which you know, all that stuff can sort of change when you're kind of out there doing it.
Isn't it that you're almost 17 years, 18 years together? It may be longer than?
I guess it is, you know. I guess, you know, I don't think we really look at it like that, though, because we've known each other so long, you know, that you know, we
start like, okay, we're starting.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't like we started on September the 2nd you know, it's like you know, we just kind of do our music, man, and it's just kind of been a journey, and the journey's still going, you know.